Society is filled with many proud people. You see, the main issue in society nowadays is you have a lot of people walk around with pride in their hearts. You see, you have a lot of people walk around with their head held high, and they act like they all that just because they got a big job, just because they got a big car, just because they work at a certain place, because they own this type of business, because they live in this block and that block. But let me tell you something. The Bible makes it clear in the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 16 through 19, I believe, that one of the six things that God hates and seven that's abominable unto him is a proud look. You see, God can't stand a proud look. You see, people who are proud, God can't even use them effectively. You know why? Because they'll never fully listen to his instructions. Because they'll always want to do things his way. Because they'll always think that they're on the right path. Let me tell you something. Nobody got it all together. You have people walk around looking down upon other people just because they're making more than that person. Just because that person don't have the type of clothes that they have. You got really people who carry this mentality. And this mentality is destructive. The Bible makes clear that pride comes before destruction. Many people who walk around this proud look, they have that mindset for years until destruction hits them. Until God comes from himself. Let me tell you something. We are all nothing before God. I don't care who you think you are. I don't care if you think you're some celebrity, some content creator, if you think that you balling and you got this money, you work at this job and all that, and you are an athlete and all that. We all ain't nothing before when we stand in front of God. You see, in order for you to be effectively used by God, you gotta be humble. The book of James makes it clear that God likes a humble heart. You see, when you're humble, God can use you because you listen to his instructions. You listen to what he's telling you. When you're humble, you're willing to learn from other people who might know more than you about a certain topic. But you see, when you have a proud look, you always think that your ways are right. You'll be going down the wrong path, but you won't even know it. You won't even listen when people tell you that's not the way to go because your heart has pride in it. You see, one of the main things that God's going to judge people on judgment day is their heart. You have a lot of people who walk around with pride in their heart, thinking that they're somebody just because they get a certain amount of views or because they got a certain amount of fan base online, just because they got a certain amount of followers on social media. Think about all these people, all these big time celebrities. You see, many of you people who idolize these celebrities, I sometimes have to wonder, why do you guys even do it? Main reason I ask this question because a lot of these celebrities, they look down upon you guys. A lot of Hollywood people, they look down upon you because you don't have the success that they have, because you're not popular like them. But guess what? A lot of you guys idolize these people. You run to them asking for their autographs, screaming as soon as you see them, screaming their name when you see them in public. But what have any of them really done for you? You idolize these people, but many of them, they look down upon you. Many of them, even if you go to them for an autograph, many of them would even ignore you. So a lot of you guys, you will look up to these people, but these people don't even respect you. A lot of these people don't even have no manners towards you. A lot of times when you go up to these celebrities, they start cussing you out, they start calling you types of names, they laugh in your face, but yet you guys continue to idolize them. God can't stand a proud look. You see, this is why many people, especially those who live in the LGBT lifestyles, they're going down the path of destruction. And then many of them are making themselves an enemy of God. I'll tell you why they're making themselves an enemy of God. They're making themselves an enemy of God because they're proud of a lifestyle that's an abomination to God. They're proud of something that God does not even approve of. They're proud of a lifestyle that leads to destruction, that leads to hellfire, that leads to eternal torment. This is why many people who lived in that lifestyle for years may have to end up dying in their sins, because their hearts are full of pride. Because many people in the world support them, so in their mind, why would they have to listen to Christians? In their mind, why would they have to listen to God? Because many people on the world support their lifestyle. Many people on the world support their doings. So in their mind, they could just continue living how they want. Until judgment hits them. Until they take the last breath. Until they find themselves in hell. Until they be thrown into a lake of fire in judgment day. You see, pride is dangerous. It's extremely dangerous because you always think that you ain't gotta listen to nobody. A person will come to you, trying to show you the right way, trying to help direct you down the right path, and your ears will be fully blocked off from what they got to say. You see, people who are proud, they always many of the time they end up by themselves. You know why? Because many people don't like proud people. One of the worst things you could be in life is to walk around like you're all that, because ain't none of us is all that. You see, when you stand for God on Judgment Day, your job titles, how much money you make, where you work, all that is meaningless if you never had a relationship with God. It's meaningless, especially if you never did any of it for a kingdom of heaven. You got many of these people, they work at these satanic places that support stuff like liquor, alcohol, drugs. They do it. Many people do stuff like OnlyFans online, and then they got the nerve to look down upon people. Last time I checked, you living in sin. Last time I checked, you causing people to stumble. So who are you to be looking down upon people when you could lead to people's destruction? When you're making yourself an enemy of God? When you're leading yourself to eternal torment? The enemy is using you, and yet you got the nerve to look down upon people. You see, pride is dangerous because pride is exactly how Lucifer fell. That's exactly how Satan fell from heaven. Because he wanted to be God. He wanted the throne. He wanted to be God in heaven. He wanted to be Lord over everything. He wanted to be the ruler over everything in heaven. And you see, that's what got him kicked out. And the dangerous part is he deceived 1/3 of the angels, and the fallen angels got kicked out right with them. Because, you see, the dangerous part about pride is, not only is a person who has pride leading themselves to destruction, but their followers can lead to destruction. You know why? Because, let me tell you something, what you come into agreement with is powerful. What you agree with can be powerful. It can either make or break your life. If you're following after someone who has pride in their heart, that same spirit will fall on you. That same entity, that same spirit will fall upon you to now where you can now become a proud person. To where you can now subscribe to their ideology. And next thing you know, you stumble into sin with them. Next thing you know, you have pride. You're looking down upon people. Now you falling down just like they are. And you see, that's what happened to the angels, 1/3 of the angels in heaven. They followed after Satan, and look, they fell down with him. They got cast out of heaven. 1/3 of the angels fell. And guess what? Those fallen angels are going to be cast into a lake of fire just like Satan. Ain't no coming back for them. It's over with. So, for you people who have pride in your heart, I strongly suggest that you stop and you repent. Because when you stand for God judgment day, one thing that God likes, the Bible makes it clear that those who are pure in heart shall see God. When you have a humble heart, God loves a humble heart. As it's stated in the book of James, when you have a humble heart, God can use you because you listen to his instructions. You can be great for God. And guess what? You can learn a lot of wisdom and knowledge from others. You know why? Because you're open to learning. You see, people who are proud, they're not open to learning. They're stuck in their ways. And you see, a person who thinks that they're all that, they can end up making themselves be a nobody when they stand in front of God. You see, you're going to see a lot of this on Judgment Day. You're going to see a lot of people who thought that they're all that. They had these big job titles. They had all this money, all this success. And yet when they stand in front of God, he's going to say, I never knew you. Depart from me. You see, many people, you see on earth, you might be somebody. You might be somebody. You might be famous and all that on earth. But up there in heaven, if you ain't do for a king of heaven, if you ain't serving God, all that stuff is meaningless. It's nothing to God. It has no value. So this pride in this that's happened in society, I see it's a lot with people in society, especially many people work these big jobs, many rich people. They walk around like they're all that. May I tell you something, God can easily take your money away just like that. The Bible makes it clear, the Lord giveth and he taketh. That stuff that you idolize, the stuff that you look up to, the stuff that you think that you're better than people off based on, God can take it all away. You might be thinking that you balling just because you got some big job, because you work at some business. But guess what? God can take it all away. Just strip it all like that from you. Just gone. Because you don't call the shots. God calls the shots. He has power over everything. He gives and he takes. He can allow you to have that job, but he can also allow you to lose it. That's why you don't play games with God. That's why you don't be walk around arrogant. Because when you walk around with arrogance, when you walk around with pride, you don't even know that you're serving Lucifer himself. Because that's that same sin that caused him to fall. When you walk around with pride, you don't even know that the Satan is your father. Because now you're looking down upon people like you're somehow better than people. Last time I checked, God created humans from dust of the ground. So what makes you different than that person that you're looking down upon? God created them just like he created you. God can save them just like he can save you. And guess what? Just as much as other people can stumble into sin, you having all that money, you can stumble into sin too. So all that pride that many of you people have in your heart, I suggest that you get it out. Because you ain't getting nowhere in life with that heart. With that type of mindset. Pride leads to destruction. Many people who I've seen who have pride in their hearts, from what I've seen with my own eyes, they fell. They fell because they were not willing to listen to people. They were not willing to change. They were not willing to be humble. And guess what? They fell, they deteriorated, and many of them end up being stuck by themselves at the end of their lives. So, ask yourself, was it really worth it? No. Be humble. Be kind. Listen, the Bible makes it clear that Treat people how you want to be treated. You would not want nobody to look down upon you as a person, so why would you look down upon others? You would not want that feeling, so why would you do it to others? How would you feel if someone else looked down upon you, especially if you're a person who struggles and don't have much? That would be a terrible feeling for many of you. So if that would be a terrible feeling for you, then why would you do it to others? Think. If you would not want something done to you, then why would you do it to others? Come on, guys. Judgment Day is real. You see, Jesus Christ is getting ready to return. And you do not want to stand in front of him on Judgment Day with pride in your heart. Because it's not going to end good for you. Listen, Jesus Christ came as God in the flesh. He had no sin. The only man to ever walk this planet with no sin. And guess what? Despite all that, he was still a man who was humble. He was still a man who, even though he was God in the flesh, he chose sinners. The Bible makes it clear that the 12 disciples, they were not perfect. Look, Peter denied Jesus Christ 3 times, and guess what? Jesus still never kicked them off the 12 disciples. He was still in it. Jesus Christ still had mercy on him. And see, where's Peter now? Now he's in heaven. So if Jesus Christ was humble and he was willing to give people chances, why are you walking around with pride in your heart like you all that? Wear a proud look with your head up. Well, acting like you better than people. Cut it out. Cut it out. Because you're just going to make yourself an enemy guy. You're going to lead your own self to you're going to end up leading to your destruction. Be humble. Have a humble heart. Know how to treat people. And know how to be humble and listen to God. And get that pride in your heart. Because guess what? As long as that pride continues in your heart, as long as it continues your mind, Satan will continue to use it.